Hello artists! Today we're going to make something called a ding, and it comes from China, and they're a vessel used for cooking or holding food. They normally have 3 or 4 legs on them. You're going to get a chunk of clay, and this is going to be your ding or your vessel, your box. So before we can do anything, you have to decide what shape do you want it to be. Do you want it to be rectangular? Do you want it to be kind of squarish? Do you want it to be a little rounded? So once you make that decision, then we're using cloth and gravity to change its shape. So for example, if I want this chunk of clay to have nicer sides and be rectangular, I can gently tap on the cloth, and that will clean up my edges and give me a nice shaped box. Now, since this is a vessel, that means it has to hold things inside it. So you cannot sit here and pound it out so it's wide and flat like a big rectangular pancake. It has to have thickness to it. As part of this is also going to be your lid. If you have little areas that won't flatten, you can always take your finger, kind of smooth them a little bit with your finger. Just one more time, no pancakes. And use the table to help you out. If you want your ding to be a cylinder instead of a rectangular prism, then you're going to take it and you squeeze to knock off the corners so it looks like a really unattractive rock. Then roll it into a ball. If rolling with your hands doesn't work, you can also gently kind of cup your hand and spank it a little bit. Then on the cloth, tap the bottom, tap the top, and roll on the side. And this should look like a very thick hamburger patty. We don't want it to be flat. We don't want it to be big like an oatmeal cream pie. And just like on the rectangular one, use your finger to smooth out the cracks. Check the top and the bottom, make sure those are smoothed out as well. Once you have a shape that you are satisfied with, you're going to see me, and I'm going to use my clay wire and cut your lid. And remove. Now we need to dig out the inside of your box. So we're going to take your finger, lay it down, make a line. Repeat all the way around. If you could go as small as using your pinky and lay it on that edge. And I'm just making a mark. We need this. This is going to become the walls of your box. And if they are too thin, they're going to collapse and they won't be able to hold the weight that we are adding on top of them. Now you're going to be armed with the wire loop tool, and we're going to, if you have one that's got a flat end, use it. If you don't, then you can use the rounder end down here. Don't use one that's very pointy. There's some that are pointy. The way this works is we take this flat part here, set it in the clay, drag it across, lift out. And you have to do this in layers. Notice as I'm taking these out, I'm balling the little pieces up. They stay wet longer that way. Plus you're going to need these little pieces in the future. And repeat. Now I do the next layer. You can't take this, dig down to the very bottom and scoop it out. It's not a spoon. It's not a shovel. So just work in layers. So here's my extras all lumped together. They stay wet longer this way. Okay, I'm sure you noticed now it's all rough and scratchy on the inside. We're going to fix that. Every table will have a bowl with sponges in it. To make sure your sponge gets wet, squeeze it out over the bowl. Then we can take your sponge and carefully swipe the inside. If you had extra rough places on the outside, we can swipe those too. Try not to alter the shape too much. And I tried to keep my box and my lid pointed in the same direction while I'm working. That way I know which direction this goes. Plus, when I cut it, it wasn't totally even. That will also help me know which way the lid goes. Now I'm trying to make sure the shape still matches up. Okay. Before we call it quits for the day, you're going to, on the bottom of your vessel, write your name with a pencil. You're carving it in with a pencil. Also write your class on the bottom. And you need a piece of plastic to lay on your project. Then we set your lid on top exactly where you want it to go.